What's up, guys? I'm Garrett.
And I'm Keith.
And today we're reviewing Mr. Shmooze by Richard Abraham. It's a good book, man. Mr. Shmooze is the dude.
Yeah, I liked it. It was good. Reminded me a lot of me and the way we are in business, all of us real estate agents. It's a relationship business. Every now and then someone's going to raise their hand, say, I want to buy or sell a house or a property or invest in something. But we're in the relationship business. That's what we are. That's what we do. We're top of mind. We're out there in front of people all the time.
Right. And I mean, in this book, Mr. Shmooze is like the master networker, right? He knows everybody and their mother, and he knows everything about them and what they really love and what really they're passionate about. And I mean, if you can do that in our business, anybody that's in their network, I think he says in the book, for every one person that he builds a deep relationship with, he's now built 250 others. Because that person has 250 other people that they have a deep connection with.
Yep.
And so, I mean, that's how you get referrals, right? That's what our business runs on.
And he says, I want real relationships, whether they're old, new, superficial, it doesn't matter. And once he has them, he always wants to make them better. So that's what you're talking about, digging deeper and elevating and all of that.
Yeah.
He's always saying he wants to make those relationships better. And that's our job. That's what we do.
Right. And escalating the experience or elevating the experience.
Yep.
Right. So how are you going to make this the best experience possible for your client? And he said, even get crazy, right? Think of the craziest thing you can do to make this the best experience for your client and just go for it.
Yep. And he says, I create, what do we say, a network of lives or ideas and experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's building that network of experiences out there. So again, we come across that in our real estate career all the time. We want to create an experience for them. We're not just taking them through a deal and then that's it. We're creating a long-lasting relationship, making it better. We're creating memories. We're creating experiences. You always want to remember that. It's not just an in-and-out deal.
Right. And the way he does that in this book, right, he's creating great experiences, whether it's an amazing night to dinner and they're playing games and whatnot and moving from spot to spot as they go through the night, but also by giving, right, and giving personalized gifts. So we as real estate agents, we do a lot of giving. Majority of our business is given.
Yep.
And I mean, he even says in the greatest salespeople give for a living. I think about all the CMAs that we do, all the consultations that we do, and like I personally go out of my way to give people CMAs and whatnot. I mean, but the more you put out there, the more that comes back, right?
Absolutely.
So it's just energy you're putting out there. So I think, one, taking that into respect for our business, but also taking in that personal piece and really getting that personal touch. You just got to build that deep relationship because that is our business, is relationships.
And that's what this book is about, honing in on those relationships, really paying attention to the little details.
Mm-hmm.
There was one point in it, he was talking to someone and he said, oh yeah, well, what'd you notice in their office? Well, I saw pictures. They have a lot of pictures with their business, with their personal. He's kind of like, 50-50. And he said, oh yeah, well, he golfs. And he's like, all right, what else? Well, the client's son also golfs. And it turns out the son was really making his way and golfing and could have a career in front of him. So instead of just taking out the client, he invited the client to go golfing and take his son and take one of his son's friends. And then he started thinking, again, elevate it. He's talking to a room full of people brainstorming. What else how can we elevate it? How can we elevate it? All right, so bring in a pro, do this, have personalized this. He created an experience, not just, I went golfing with somebody who wants my business. He created an experience that they're not going to forget. And he brought his son into it, which was huge.
And then by the way, he takes a picture of them on that golf trip and then sends it 4 days later. So they get to relive that entire experience again.
And you're going to put it on your desk. You're going to put it on your desk, the picture of you with so.
And every time you see it, you're going to remember that relationship.
Yep.
And you know what? When you're thinking real estate, they're going to look at that photo and they're going to think of you.
All right, so what are some of the talking points in this book I wrote down here?
So for me, personally, it's a big thing because I talk about this a lot. If you don't rehearse and practice on your own, you're rehearsing and practicing on your clients. You have to script practice all day, every day. And he makes it a point in this book. He makes an entire boardroom go through the entire meeting that they're going to have right there live, and then tells them, all right, we're going to do it again tomorrow before you guys go to the actual meeting. Because
you brought it up. You brought it up. Let me pull you up. What else are you practicing all the time? Scripts. You want script practice. What other things do we do all the time that you need to practice all the time? Name a few.
You got to practice your CMAs, you got to practice your scripts, you got to practice your closes,
buyer presentation,
you got to practice your presentations,
listing presentation. Even just everything you do, you're practicing. Do you want that first time to be in front of a client, or do you want to have a script partner, a coach, or something like that that's going to get you through that? You want to be practicing in front of a client,
right? And just to go off that, right? So when they go in, he says, don't make it a presentation. Make it a conversation.
Yep.
So that was revolutionary for me in my listing presentation, right? where it's no longer just I go in and I give them the sales pitch. I go in and just talk to them. You know, what's important to them, what do they want to talk about, and then say, hey, if you want to hear about my marketing and what we do, we can go through that. But if that's not important to them, we're not going to go through it, right? Dig deep and just have that conversation with them.
Something from the book that I know hits home in our business also, he talks about when you're having that conversation, it's not a presentation, it's a conversation, how are people going to remember the content of it? One thing he brought up in a conversation about basketball, he was talking about a number. He walked in and said, oh, well, somebody by doing this and doing this created their vertical lift, got an actual number, a detailed number, and they remember that. And he kind of played upon that. It's like you could remember it the next day. So I sit there and I say, you walk in, give them a solid stat, an actual number. They're going to remember it. They always remember stats. They'll forget some of the ups and downs, some of the things that you bring into it. But if you were to say, hey, your days on market in this market is 23 days on market, and you have an average sale price of 352. Instantly, they know what you're doing. We're not trying to dupe them. We're sitting there saying, you are now a master of your market.
Right. Not only will they remember that, but they're going to view you as the expert. They're going to remember that you're the expert.
Absolutely. Yep. So that goes back to knowing your numbers.
Yeah.
So what else we got here? Oh, okay. So one of the things that I said that is a good way to implement, one of the things that you can actually put on paper and go right to, what you're going to take away from the book and implement is he says he rates people 1 to 5 on 2 different areas. 1 to 5, he says, if they're a 1, I barely know them. If they're a number 5, they'll take a bullet for me. Okay? Then he talks about the business part of it. If they're a 1, they are deeply personal to me. And a lot of the things we do are just strictly personal. If they're a 5, it's all business and they just want to elevate my business. So he says, I like to get people to 7 to 10. So they're extremely they're extremely business and they literally will do anything for them. Those are the type of people you're building a business around, and you're building those relationships. Get them to a 7 to a 10. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, build up those strong relationships. Like I said, that's our whole business.
Yep.
So what'd you rate this book, man?
So I wanted to say I did a 3 point, I got it right here. I gave it a 3.4. I gave it a 3.4. I love the flow of the book. I loved the fact that it's kind of timeless. I'm always going to reread it. It's a good little boost for you. Only a few quotes to pull from. The content was good, but of course it's a story. It's not a fact book, so what'd you give it?
I gave it a 3.8. I think it's a great book. I think it's great for anybody in sales, whether you're a new agent or a seasoned agent. You should read this because it really digs back down to the basics of what we should be doing for the sales process. It just flows really good. It's a really good read. It's only about 2 hours to read. 2 hours on Audible.
Yep.
Nice short book. You can see there it's pretty thin. 3.8 from me. So collectively, we give it a 3.6.
3.6. Yep. And again, good book. There was a lot of stuff in there. A lot of it was kind of, you're going to pull from other books. I really liked it. It's a good refresher. This was a first-time read for me, by the way. This was Garrett's idea to read this one. I had never read it before. I'm glad I did. Definitely going to reread it. But a lot of things in there we didn't bring up. So, fill up that comment section. Ask the questions. We want to kind of collaborate with this because I think I got a little bit more out of it than I'm bringing out right now. So I want to talk about it a little bit more. So make sure you get in there, fill out the comment sections. What are we reading next?
Yeah, so join us next time. We're going to be reviewing Damon John's Rise and Grind. And as always, keep doing next level shit.
Keep doing next level shit.